Welcome back. You're watching KTN News Desk. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, there is need for verification at the National Tallying Centre, and verification of the presidential results should be done by the Commission because it is different from other elective posts, and there is a standard measure used. Those are some of the arguments that were presented by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission as it seeks to nullify a ruling which declared presidential results announced at the constituency level as final. That case is currently before a 5-judge bench at the Court of Appeal, and let's listen in to what was said in the morning. But before we do that, let's just go to our reporter, Murimi Mwangi, who's joining us from the Supreme Court, and he attended this particular session. Murimi, what are some of the arguments that stood out for you, given that everyone is taking a different stand from the opposition to the electoral body?
Good afternoon, Akisa. Well, today was the turn for the opposition under the National Super Alliance to make their presentation before the Court of Appeal. Remember, they have been enjoined in that appeal as an interested party in that case, and thereafter there was an opportunity for the IEBC to make a rebuttal through their final submissions before the 5-judge bench here. But of course, most importantly for the IEBC, as you mentioned, they insist that Article 136 of the Constitution makes the provisions on presidential elections self-contained within that particular article, and therefore the presidential election, according to the IEBC, is totally different from the election for other positions that are being contested, and that, they say, makes the constituencies, the 290 constituencies, a single block of constituency for the purpose of a presidential election, with the chairman of the IEBC as the de facto returning officer for the purpose of the presidential election. That's their justification at persuading the Court of Appeal to overturn the High Court judgment that declared the presidential results at the constituency level as final and not subject to further verification nationally. But of course, NASA has insisted that the finality of presidential results has to remain at the constituency level, because to them, that's the only way to safeguard the accuracy and sanctity of the presidential elections by sealing the possible loopholes for manipulation of the tally as is received from the 290 constituency returning officers. Akisa.
All right, so what do we expect with the submissions that have been given by the opposition going forward? What do we expect?
Well, the judges have set the 23rd of June as the date for the final ruling on that particular case. I have been able to speak to parties on both sides in the dispute, and there is a clear sign that whichever way the judgment goes here before the Court of Appeal, a subsequent appeal could find its way to the Supreme Court, either the IEBC, which is the appellant here, or the 3 initial petitioners before the High Court, activists Maina Kiai, Helif Khalifa, Tirop Kitur, or even NASA, which is an interested party here, might make their way to the Supreme Court for a subsequent appeal. Remember, it is exactly 61 days to the August elections, and whichever appeal is going to be filed past the 23rd ruling by the Court of Appeal has to be concluded early enough as preparations for the 2017 elections continue. Akisa.
Murimi, thank you for that update. Our reporter Murimi Mwangi there joining us from the Court of Appeal. He says the final ruling has been set for June the 23rd, so we'll see how that goes. But at this point, to wrap it up for our KTN Home viewers, many thanks for joining us. But remember, we continue with a bulletin on KTN News, where we will be bringing you more details and more news making headlines in the country and beyond. So let's now stick with KTN.